Well, let's look at this very familiar passage in Mark chapter 1. I just love this. The beginning, the starting place of the good news of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. As it is written in Isaiah the prophet, "Behold, I send my messenger before your face who will prepare your way. The voice of one crying in the wilderness, make ready the way of the Lord and make his paths straight." And John the Baptist appeared in the wilderness preaching a baptism of repentance for the forgiveness of sins. Now, my wife has as one of her most favorite things about Christmas time that it requires moving a lot of things around. And we have a very small living room in our house. Trust me, to even walk from one side to the other, you generally have to move something around in order to navigate it. But when you bring in a big Christmas tree and all the other decorations and the big tubs and bins that all the decorations are in before they get placed out, it's like we have to almost take all the furniture out in order to get anything in. Do you know what I'm saying? You have a house like that. And my wife loves that. Because not so much the work of it, but she loves it because it makes the statement that we are going to prepare room for the Lord. And you will discover, as we're going to hear in a moment, that it is one of the most basic principles of the kingdom, that when God does intervene, when he steps into your world, when he wants to do the next work that he's doing, and we all love to know whatever that is. Oh, Lord, work your stuff. Oh, God, have your way. We love praying that kind of prayer. And we don't generally realize that it's almost always going to mean that something has to be changed. I have to make room for the Lord. He doesn't come well and just fit where no room has been made. He moves things around. And in order to get more of the Lord in our life, you will discover there's more things in our life that we have to get rid of. It's not really because he's just the great moralist in the sky. But I remember in seventh grade we had this science class. This is as much as my scientific mind ever developed. It started and ended in seventh grade. No fault to the teacher. And we were learning the principle of displacement. I remember that very well. And so we had a jar, a beacon, whatever it's called, the scientific jar, beacon, and beaker. Okay, just testing your vocabulary here. And it was filled with water, and I thought, okay. And the teacher put rocks in this jar, and sure enough, water spilled out. And after he put in several rocks, then we poured how much water into another beaker. That sounds like a bird or something, into another beaker, and wouldn't just know it, there was not very much water because the rocks had displaced the water. And that is exactly the picture of the Christian life. So many people have the life of God poured into them. And one of two things is usually the case. Their heart is like a colander, so filled with holes that no matter how much gets poured in, it just leaks all over the place. And by the time they get from here to there isn't anything but a faint moistness to the metal because everything drained out. We're either like a colander, or our heart and our life is so full of other things that no matter how much of the life of God he wants to pour in, there isn't room to contain it. And so we remain fairly dwarfed in our spiritual life and spiritual growth because of that. You have to make room for the Lord. Okay,